This is Zero Logic Rants, where opinions don't follow logic, but they need mentioned anyways. Let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about that time I got reincarnated as a slime. I'm going to be honest, a lot of people looked at reincarnated as a slime and immediately they didn't give it a chance. They judged it. They saw a weird title, they saw a slime main character, they saw just another isekai setup. Immediately, they assumed the show wasn't going to be good. They just thought it was going to be another overpowered fantasy anime. But season one of that time I got reincarnated as a slime is way smarter than people give it credit for. I got something in my eye. And the craziest part, it doesn't try to force that intelligence onto you. It hides it behind comedy, relaxed pacing. It hides it behind likable characters and smooth world building. But underneath all that, there's a really well structured story about leadership, trust, evolution, and building something from absolutely nothing. Let's start with Rimuru Tempest, because this is where the series either wins people over or it loses them. Rimuru could easily be an annoying character. He's overpowered. He's reincarnated with special abilities. And things go really well for him they go really well for him pretty quickly. That combination usually creates a boring character. But Rimuru works because he doesn't feel like he's obsessed with dominance. He's not trying to go out and conquer the world, and he's not constantly screaming about becoming the strongest. He's just adapting, and that's what makes him feel more human. The first major thing the anime does right, in my opinion, is the cave, where Rimuru meets Veldora. That moment sets a tone for the rest of the series, because instead of fear, there's curiosity. Instead of violence, there's conversation. And that matters, because right away the anime establishes that this world isn't only about fighting. It's about relationships. And the bond between Rimuru and Veldora becomes the emotional core of what happens later. Next, I'd like to talk about the Goblin Village. This is where the anime truly starts becoming what it's known for. The Goblin Village, and what's interesting is this could have been handled in the most generic way possible. Strong character arrives, kills monsters, everybody worships him. But Rimuru does more than that. He doesn't just save them, he improves their lives. And that's a huge difference. He starts organizing things. He starts creating structures. He starts helping them evolve, giving them names, giving them a sense of individuality. Yeah, whatever the word is. He gives them a sense of purpose and self. It's all about building something. Now let's talk about naming, because this is one of the smartest systems in the anime. When Rimuru names monsters, They evolve. And on the surface, that just seems cool. But symbolically, it means way more. Because giving someone a name means acknowledging them as an individual. It's a sign of respect. And suddenly, creatures that were treated like monsters start becoming people. And that's a massive theme throughout season 1. Then we get to the fight with the direwolves. And the fight with the direwolves is another example of this anime thinking bigger than people realize. Because after defeating them, Rimuru doesn't just wipe them out. He takes over their leader, consumes them, and then instead of wiping out the rest of the pack, he gives them a place. He turns them into his allies. And that's what becomes the entire identity of Tempest. It's a nation built from people of the world ignored or feared that have all been, came together and they're trying to build something. One of the best things about season 1, in my opinion, is that throughout all the relationships that are being built and everything, Tempest actually starts to feel alive. It grows, not in a physical standpoint, but a cultural standpoint. You'll see trades, you'll see construction, you'll see relationships being built, you'll see politics beginning to form. And that's rare in anime. A lot of fantasy worlds feel static. But in my opinion, Tempest evolves constantly. And then we get to Shizu. And this is where the series starts showing emotional depth. Because Shizu isn't just another side character. She represents pain, loss. She represents the damage this world can cause. And her relationship with Rimuru changes him. Especially when he absorbs her and carries on her will after she dies. That moment matters because it gives Rimuru an emotional responsibility. A lot of people say season 1 is too slow, but honestly, I think the pacing is why the world works, because the anime takes time to let you understand Tempest. You meet people, you see their daily lives. You see their daily lives and you understand the relationships that are being built. So when the conflict finally happens, you actually care about the situations. Now we can get into the Orc Lord. And this is where the anime proves it can handle a larger scale storytelling. Tensions rise, and the stakes feel bigger. And suddenly, Tempest isn't just a village anymore. It's becoming a force. The battle during this arc also feels important because they're not just a bunch of random fights. The battles that take place they're tied directly to protecting what Rimuru has built. Now let's talk about Geld. Because this is where the anime separates itself from basic good versus evil storytelling. Geld isn't just evil for no reason. He's been consumed by desperation. He's being manipulated. He's been broken. And instead of simply destroying him, the anime gives understanding. And that's one of the biggest themes in season 1. Understanding instead of blind hatred. And Rimuru, he ended up helping Geld out, helped all his people out. And here's the thing people miss about Rimuru. His greatest strength isn't combat. It's leadership. It's the listening. It's the way he negotiates and the way he adapts to situations. And because of that, people want to follow him. And that's why Tempest works. It isn't built through fear. It's built through trust. Season 1 quietly introduces politics in a smart way. The Dwarf Kingdom arc. The Dwarf Kingdom arc shows that Tempest isn't isolated anymore. It's becoming part of the world. And now Rimuru has to think bigger. He has to think trades. He has to think alliances. He has to think diplomats. He has to think like a diplomat. Diplomacy. There we go. Almost messed that word up, and I can't think of it sometimes. And honestly, sometimes that's more interesting than nonstop fighting because it helps build the world and understand more aspects of what's going on. A lot of anime struggle with balancing comedy with serious moments. But Reincarnated as a Slime handles it surprisingly well, in my opinion. The comedy makes the world feel more comfortable. So when tensions appear, when tension appears, you notice it more. The laughter, the lighthearted moments, they make the darker moments hit harder. Season 1's biggest strength is simple. It's consistency. It always knows It always knows what kind of story it wants to be. It never tries too hard to look edgy. It never forces drama. It just steadily builds the world and lets you get attached naturally. So, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, season 1, isn't just another isekai. It's one of the best examples of world building done right, in my opinion. It understands pacing, progression, leadership, and emotional investment. And that's why people connected with it so hard. Now we can get into season 2 because Reincarnated as a Slime season 2 changes everything, in my opinion. And because season 1 builds comfort, season 2 kind of attacks it. The atmosphere feels different almost immediately. there's more tension, there's more pressure, there's more consequences. And that shift matters because by this point, you're attached to Tempest. You know the characters, you know the village, and you know what Rimuru has built and what others have helped protect. So when season 2 introduces real danger, you really feel it. And one thing season 2 does really well, it shows the downside to success. Tempest grew at a abnormally fast rate. It became too powerful. It became too influential. Honestly, it became too visible. And once that happened, the world started to pay attention. Not everyone is going to like a nation where monsters are becoming successful. And that's pretty realistic. That's another reason why it connects. And it really connects with me. Season 1 hinted at politics, but season 2 makes politics dangerous. This is where Rimuru starts learning something important. Being kind doesn't protect you. You can build an alliance. You can help people out. You can create peace. But no matter what you do, there's always still going to be some people that want to destroy that. And that realization completely changes the tone of the series. When we get to the attack on Tempest, this is one of the most important turning points of the series. Because for the first time, Rimuru fails to protect everyone. And the way the anime handles that, it hurts. You see destruction. You see fear. You see loss. But what really hits is the emotional shock. Because Tempest didn't feel like just another city anymore. It felt like a home. And when we get to Shion, this moment where she died changed Rimuru forever, because until now, season 1 Rimuru has been very optimistic. He believed that he could work out most things peacefully. But Shion's death changed that mindset. You can literally feel the shift in Rimuru's mentality. And this isn't just sadness. There's rage under the sadness. And not a loud, screaming rage. It's a controlled rage. Cold, focused rage. And honestly, that version of Rimuru is terrifying. I wouldn't want to walk up next to him. Because what he ended up doing, we'll get into that in a minute. The reason why this arc hits so hard is because season one earned it. If this had happened early, it wouldn't matter as much. But because we spent so much time in Tempest, so much time with the relationships being built, it it hits real hard. We were watching people laugh, grow, and build these relationships. So the loss feels personal. And that's why slow world building matters, because it creates an emotional investment. It allows you to get connected in a way where these deaths impact you more. It's not just another side character. Then we get to Rimuru's decision. Now, this is where the series becomes really interesting, because Rimuru makes a decision, and it's not a heroic anime speech. It's not a we'll forgive them, violence is wrong, we're peaceful. No. He decides to wipe out the army responsible in its entirety. And honestly, that moment shocked a lot of people, because suddenly the friendly slime protagonist isn't just a peaceful leader anymore. He's someone willing to become a monster to protect his people. And personally, this is why Rimuru works as a protagonist. He evolves emotionally with the story. He doesn't stay static. Season 1 Rimuru and Season 2 Rimuru, they feel very different. And they should feel different, because trauma changes people. Responsibilities change people. Loss can definitely change a person. And then we get to one of the most important scenes in the series, the massacre. And this moment changes how the audience views Rimuru's power. Because before this, his ability felt exciting. Cold, or not cold, cool. It felt exciting, cool, we'll go impressive. That's what people viewed Rimuru's power before. And then we get to the massacre. Here they feel a horrifying power. The way the scene is presented, the coldness behind it, the complete lack of hesitation, you realize Rimuru has now crossed a line. But what makes this deeper than simple revenge is that Rimuru isn't doing this for his satisfaction. He's doing this because he believes that he has to. To revive his people, he has to collect all these souls. To protect Tempest, he has to collect all these souls from these people. He's doing it to make sure this never happens again. And that is a very logical way of thinking. So you can understand why he made that point, whether you agree with him or not. And then everything changes again, in my opinion. Rimuru evolves into a demon lord. And honestly, this is one of the most satisfying payoffs in the entire anime, because it doesn't feel random. Like, oh, I'm just going to become a demon lord because it's cool and I can do it. It feels earned through suffering. It feels earned through sacrifice, through the responsibilities that he has taken on himself. Even the atmosphere around Rimuru changes. He feels calmer. but heavier. Like, he understands the weight of leadership now. Season 1, Rimuru wanted to build a happy nation. Season 2, Rimuru realizes protecting that nation may require some terrifying choices. And then we get to the revival. And honestly, this moment works because the anime made you feel hopeless at first. When those characters come back and get revived, it doesn't feel cheap because you know what Rimuru just went to the lengths to do this. It feels emotional and it feels earned. Because, like I said, you watched Rimuru break himself mentally trying to make this happen. Now let's talk about Clayman. Because Clayman represents something important. He represents manipulation. He doesn't rely on pure strength. He uses fear, he uses politics to control. And that makes him dangerous in a different kind of way. The Walpurgis meeting is another major turning point. Because now Rimuru isn't just dealing with kingdoms. He's standing out amongst other demon lords. And what makes this scene great is the tension. You can feel the power in the room. You can feel everyone watching each other very carefully. And Rimuru, you feel like he belongs there now. And that's the crazy part. The story has built it up to where now you see him as that demon lord status. Season 1 built the world. Season 2 tested the world. And because of that, the entire series becomes stronger. Now the stakes are real. Now the world feels dangerous. Now Rimuru understands what leadership actually costs. So yeah, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Season 2 isn't just a continuation. It's the moment this series matures. It transforms from fun fantasy world building into a story about responsibility, sacrifice, into a story about politics and the terrifying weight of protecting the people that you care about. And that's why season 2 changes everything. So right now, we can get back into season 3. Season 3 does something different. And this is where a lot of people got divided. Because season 3 of Slime changes the pace again. But honestly, I think that's exactly why it worked. Because season 1 was about building. Season 2 was about loss and transformation. But season 3 is about governing. Governing? Yeah, politics. And that sounds less exciting on paper. Rimuru isn't just a powerful character anymore. He's responsible for an entire nation. And the anime finally starts testing that responsibility seriously. It starts, you know, Tempest has evolved way beyond what it was in season one. This isn't just another goblin settlement anymore. It's a real nation with alliances, trade, military power. It's got diplomacy, political influence. And because of that, every decision Rimuru makes matters on a larger scale. He can't just act emotionally anymore, because one mistake could affect thousands of people. One thing season 3 really emphasizes is the weight behind the title Demon Lord. In season 2, becoming a Demon Lord felt powerful. But in season 3, you realize it's also exhausting. There's pressure, there's expectations, there's other nations watching you constantly. And Rimuru starts understanding something terrifying. The stronger you become, the less freedom you actually have. One of the smartest things this season does is shifting the battlefield from pure combat to politics. Because Rimuru has already proven he can fight and he can win fights. That's not a question anymore. The real question is, can he maintain peace without using overwhelming power every time? And that is a much harder challenge. A lot of people complained that season 3 had too many meetings. It had too much talking. It had too many politics. But honestly, I think people completely missed the point. Because this season is showing the reality of leadership. Building a nation isn't just fighting enemies. It's negotiation. There's planning. There's managing alliances, preventing disasters before they happen. And Rimuru has to learn all of that in real time. Here's the biggest thing people overlook. Rimuru's greatest evolution isn't his ability anymore. It's his mindset. In season 1, he reacted to problems. In season 2, he protected what he built. But in season 3, he starts to think ahead. He starts acting like somebody who is preparing for the future, not someone who's just surviving in the present. One of the coolest things about this anime is how believable Tempest becomes. You see infrastructure, you see diplomacy, you see relationships between races improving. And honestly, that's rare in fantasy anime. A lot of series say a kingdom exists. But Tempest actually feels functional. It feels alive. And this is why Rimuru continues to work as a leader because he earns loyalty. He doesn't rule through fear. He listens to people. He values talent. He protects his citizens. And because of all that, the people genuinely want Tempest to succeed. And what's interesting in season 3 is seeing how the rest of the world reacts to Tempest now. Because they can't just sit back and ignore it anymore. Tempest is too powerful. It's too organized and too influential. And that creates fear. But it also creates respect. And honestly, that balance makes the political side of the story way more engaging. Even after all the growth, the heart of the series never changes. Tempest is still built on the same idea. The place where monsters can live with dignity freely. And that concept becomes even more important in season 3. Because now the world is being forced to confront its own prejudice. And honestly, some of the most important scenes aren't fights. They're conversations and meetings. They're negotiations. Because those scenes show you how Rimuru is evolving into something bigger than a fight. It shows you him becoming a ruler. And rulers don't solve every problem with violence. Another thing this season handles really well is the idea of overwhelming power changes how everyone interacts with you. No one talks to Rimuru casually anymore. They measure their words and they think carefully before speaking. Because everyone understands he could easily destroy nations if he wanted to. And that changes things. But despite all of that, Rimuru still feels grounded. And that's important. He still jokes around, he still values friendships. He still wants Tempest to be a place people enjoy living in. And honestly, that humanity is what stops him from becoming cold. So, season 2 was chaos. Season 3 is stability. It's about maintaining what was built after surviving the disaster. And honestly, that's realistic. Because after major conflict, the hardest part is keeping everything together afterwards. This is why Slime stands out above other isekai for me. It doesn't stay trapped in one formula. It goes from survival to world building. It goes to war, from war to politics, from politics to leadership. And every stage feels connected. At the end of the day, Rimuru's goal has never really changed. He wants a world where people can coexist, monsters can coexist. And where monsters aren't automatically treated like a threat. And what makes that compelling is how difficult that dream actually is. So, yeah, that time I got reincarnated as a slime season 3 isn't trying to outdo season two's emotional destruction. It's trying to show the reality of what comes after. It's trying to show, how do you lead after tragedy? How do you maintain peace? How do you build a future while carrying the weight of power? And honestly, that's more interesting than nonstop fighting. Because by this point, Rimuru isn't just another slime anymore. He's becoming one of the most complete leaders in modern anime. Whether you agree with me or not, you thought about it. This has been Zero Logic Rants, and I'll catch you on the next one.